In the United States Navy, there's a rule that changes careers instantly. When a submarine officer confirms she's pregnant, she has just 24 hours to start the process of leaving her post. No appeals, no exceptions. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, submarines operate in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. And bringing new life into this underwater world? That's completely off limits. The reasons behind this strict no baby zone policy go far beyond what most people realize. From hidden medical risks to classified protocols, this is what really happens when submariners get pregnant. The world of submarine service stayed exclusively male for most of naval history. Women served in many military roles, but the depths of the ocean remained off limits. The submarines themselves, with their tight corridors and shared sleeping quarters, weren't designed with mixed crews in mind. That all changed in 2010. The US Navy made a groundbreaking announcement: women would finally be allowed to serve on submarines. This shift started with a small group of female officers joining the crews of larger submarines, the Ohio-class boats. These pioneering women faced not just the normal challenges of submarine life, but also the pressure of being the first. Today, female submariners make up about 5% of submarine crews in the US Navy. They serve on multiple classes of submarines and hold positions from junior officers to commanding roles. More than 800 women have completed submarine training and qualification programs. Their presence has reshaped submarine culture, leading to new protocols and practices, including strict policies about pregnancy. This change meant establishing clear rules about a situation the Navy never had to consider before. What happens when a qualified submariner, trained at great expense and crucial to their crew, becomes pregnant while serving underwater? When a pregnancy test comes back positive on a submarine, it sets off a carefully planned sequence of events. The first step happens immediately. The servicewoman must inform her direct superior officer, typically within the same watch period. This notification isn't just a formality. It triggers a classified operational protocol designed to protect both the pregnant officer and the submarine's mission. The commanding officer receives this information through a secure chain of command. Unlike other military posts where pregnancy announcements might take days to process, submarine commands treat this as an urgent situation requiring immediate action. The submarine's medical officer becomes involved, conducting an initial health assessment and preparing necessary documentation. If the submarine is in the middle of a mission, especially in deep waters or sensitive areas, the situation becomes more complex. The crew can't simply surface and head to port. That could compromise operational security. Instead, the command team must balance the medical needs of the pregnant servicewoman with the submarine's tactical obligations. They begin planning for the next viable port opportunity, which could be days or even weeks away. During this waiting period, specific precautions take effect. The pregnant officer is immediately relieved of certain duties, particularly those involving radiation exposure near the submarine's nuclear propulsion systems. Her work schedule adjusts to minimize physical strain, and she receives additional medical monitoring. The submarine's limited medical facilities prepare for potential pregnancy-related emergencies. Once the submarine reaches port, the transfer process begins. A replacement officer often meets the submarine at this point, ensuring the crew maintains its required staffing levels. The pregnant officer receives orders for her new assignment, typically to a shore command or surface vessel. This transfer includes a comprehensive medical examination at a naval facility and the creation of a specialized care plan for the duration of her pregnancy. The entire protocol, from initial notification to final transfer, follows strict timelines and documentation requirements. Each step gets recorded and reported up the chain of command, ensuring proper handling of both the personnel change and the servicewoman's healthcare needs. This process, while sometimes criticized for its impact on careers, reflects the Navy's attempt to balance operational requirements with personnel safety in the unique submarine environment. The Navy's rigid pregnancy policies stem from several serious challenges that make submarines uniquely dangerous for expecting mothers. Think of a submarine as a sealed metal tube operating in one of Earth's most hostile environments, and that's just the beginning. Let's start with medical care. Surface ships have basic medical facilities, but submarines operate with extremely limited medical capabilities. There's usually just one medical officer handling everything from basic first aid to emergency procedures. No ultrasound machines, no fetal monitoring equipment, no specialized obstetric care. When you're hundreds of feet underwater, accessing emergency medical help isn't just difficult, it's often impossible. The submarine's environment itself poses significant risks. The air inside is artificially maintained through complex systems that weren't designed with pregnancy in mind. Pressure changes during diving and surfacing could potentially affect fetal development. The atmosphere contains higher levels of carbon dioxide than on land, and oxygen levels are carefully controlled. Even small variations in these levels, while safe for regular crew members, could pose unknown risks to a developing fetus. Then there's the radiation concern. Nuclear-powered submarines, despite heavy shielding, expose crew members to low levels of radiation. While these levels are deemed safe for adults, there's zero tolerance for fetal radiation exposure. Pregnant crew members would need to stay far from the reactor compartment, an impossible task in the submarine's confined space. Speaking of space, submarines push the limits of human adaptation. Narrow passageways, tight quarters, and steep ladders between decks create physical challenges that become increasingly difficult during pregnancy. In an emergency, these space constraints could turn deadly. Imagine trying to evacuate through a small escape hatch while pregnant, wearing survival gear, in complete darkness. Emergency scenarios underwater require split-second decisions and physical agility. Standard emergency procedures, like rapid surfacing or emergency evacuation, involve intense physical stress. The high-pressure environment means even minor medical issues can escalate quickly. A simple pregnancy complication that would be routine in a hospital becomes life-threatening when you're days away from the nearest medical facility. The submarine's isolation adds another layer of risk. Most submarines stay submerged for months at a time. During these periods, there's no way to get immediate medical help. A pregnancy-related emergency could force a submarine to break mission, compromising military operations and potentially national security. These combined factors create an environment where the Navy can't guarantee the safety of both mother and child. The stakes are simply too high, and the risks too unpredictable. This reality drives the strict policies we see today, policies that prioritize safety over all other considerations. When a submariner becomes pregnant, her career takes an immediate but complex turn. The reassignment process begins within hours of pregnancy confirmation, marking the start of a professional journey very different from what she planned. The transition to shore duty isn't just a simple office transfer. Each pregnant submariner receives orders to a naval facility with appropriate medical care, often far from their previous posting. This sudden move affects not just their career, but their entire life, including housing, medical benefits, and sometimes family separation if they have a spouse also serving in the submarine force. Shore duty brings its own set of challenges. Submariners are highly trained specialists, and their skills are specifically tailored to underwater operations. On shore, they often find themselves in administrative roles or training positions. Valuable work, but far from their submarine expertise. This shift can feel like stepping away from years of specialized training and experience. The path back to submarine service after pregnancy proves particularly challenging. First, they must complete the physical recovery period after childbirth, typically lasting 6 months to a year. Then comes the intensive process of requalifying for submarine duty. This includes passing rigorous physical fitness tests, completing refresher training, and demonstrating that their technical skills remain sharp. Many women find that arranging childcare for future deployments presents another hurdle in returning to sea duty. The impact on career advancement creates perhaps the most significant long-term challenge. Submarine service promotions often depend on accumulated sea time and specific underwater achievements. Time spent away from the submarine, even for pregnancy and childbirth, can delay career progression. Some women find themselves watching peers advance while they rebuild their sea time qualifications. The Navy has begun addressing these career impacts through various programs and policies, but the fundamental challenge remains. How to balance the unique demands of submarine service with the realities of parenthood. Some submariners choose to delay starting families until reaching certain career milestones. Others decide to transition permanently to surface ships or shore duties, where pregnancy policies prove less restrictive.
Despite these challenges, many female submariners have successfully navigated both pregnancy and career advancement, though it often requires careful timing and strategic planning of both their professional and personal lives. Their experiences continue to shape evolving Navy policies on pregnancy and submarine service. The Navy's pregnancy policies for submariners have sparked intense debate and legal challenges, particularly since 2021. Female service members have raised serious concerns about how these rules affect their military careers and reproductive choices. Several submarine officers have filed lawsuits challenging the automatic removal policy. Their argument centers on a critical question: does protecting maternal health cross the line into discrimination? These officers point out that other medical conditions don't trigger such immediate and lasting career impacts. They argue that the blanket policy of removing all pregnant submariners, regardless of individual circumstances or stage of pregnancy, goes beyond necessary safety precautions. On the other side, military leadership maintains that submarine safety protocols aren't up for negotiation. They point to the extensive research behind current policies, emphasizing that submarines create unique risks that surface ships and shore facilities don't face. Navy officials stress that their primary duty is protecting both service members and operational security. This debate touches on deeper questions about military service and gender equality. Some argue that pregnancy restrictions effectively force female submariners to choose between their career aspirations and having a family, a choice their male counterparts never face. Others counter that submarine service, like certain other military roles, simply isn't compatible with all life situations. Current policy discussions are exploring potential compromises. Some proposals suggest extending the timeline for transfer, allowing pregnant officers more flexibility in planning their transitions. Others recommend creating specific career paths that better accommodate family planning while maintaining submarine qualifications. What do you think about this complex situation? Should the Navy prioritize career equality or ERR on the side of maximum safety? Share your perspective in the comments below. We're particularly interested in hearing from current or former military members who've faced similar career challenges. The outcome of these ongoing debates and legal challenges could reshape not just submarine service policies, but how the military as a whole approaches pregnancy and gender equality. Military leaders are watching closely, knowing their decisions will impact generations of future submariners. The future of pregnancy policies in submarine service stands at a crucial turning point. The U.S. Navy currently reviews its submarine medical protocols every few years, and pregnancy policies form a key part of these evaluations. Medical advances and new submarine designs could reshape these long-standing rules. Other navies around the world offer interesting perspectives. The Australian Navy has begun implementing more flexible pregnancy policies, creating temporary surface roles that keep pregnant submariners connected to their underwater units. The British Royal Navy is testing enhanced medical facilities in their newest submarines, potentially allowing for safer management of early-stage pregnancies. Technology might provide some solutions. Modern submarine designs include improved medical facilities and better radiation shielding. Some navies are exploring remote medical consultation systems that could provide better pregnancy care while underway. These innovations might eventually allow for more nuanced policies that consider individual circumstances, rather than requiring immediate removal. The conversation extends beyond just pregnancy policies. Military planners are beginning to recognize that retaining experienced submarine officers might require more family-friendly policies throughout their careers. This could mean creating new career paths that blend submarine expertise with more flexible service options, allowing skilled submariners to continue contributing their valuable experience even during family planning years. Submarine service represents one of the military's most challenging environments, where safety protocols and operational demands create unique challenges for pregnant service members. From the 24-hour evacuation requirement to the complex career impacts, these policies continue shaping the lives of female submariners. The balance between protecting life and ensuring equality remains a delicate one.
As we've seen, there are no easy answers, just an ongoing effort to adapt military service to changing times while maintaining the highest safety standards. The story of pregnancy in submarine service isn't just about policies or procedures. It's about dedicated service members navigating both their commitment to duty and their personal lives beneath the waves. If you found this deep dive into submarine service interesting, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more revealing stories about military life. Give this video a like if you learned something new today. Until next time, this is the reality of life hundreds of feet below the surface.